Welcome once again to Counseling 101. In this video, we shall look at 10 subtle behaviors of men who pretend to be nice but actually are not. You know, it can be difficult to navigate the maze of human behavior. People are not always who they seem to be. Consider men who seem to be friendly. They could be all smiles and compliments, the epitome of the gentleman. However, something more could be simmering beneath that endearing facade. These men are experts at trickery. They conceal their actual motivations behind their good guy face. Furthermore, it is not always simple to see past the facade. But fear not, there are subliminal cues that may warn you. This essay will look at 10 subtle actions that men who appear pleasant but are not really displaying. All set, now let us get started. The number one sign of men who pretend is excessive praise. Have you ever encountered someone who gives praises as if they were out of style? Yes, it is pleasant to feel valued. However, if the praises begin to seem overbearing or uncalled for, there may be another factor at work. Nice-looking men just use flattery as a tactic to get people to like them. It is a shrewd move because receiving praises can lift our spirits and increase our likelihood of seeing the other person favorably. The issue is, though, sincere praises are usually brief and precise. They are not distributed carelessly or in the form of candies. The second sign of men who pretend is that they control dialogue. Permit me to tell you a personal story. I used to know this guy who seemed like he was very friendly. He was always the first to grin warmly and strike up a conversation. But as time went on, I saw a trend in our conversations. He always seemed to be the topic of conversation. He was quite good at gently bringing up his hobbies or experiences if we were talking about something else that did not interest him. I dismissed it at first. He was, after all, a charming guy. But as time passed, it became evident that this was not merely a harmless eccentricity of the character. Men who put up a nice front frequently control the conversation to maintain attention on themselves or their hobbies. All of this is done to keep up the good guy persona while gently managing the conversation. Although it might not seem like a major concern at first, this habit can become exhausting and even have a negative impact on relationships with time. Sincere individuals appreciate polite discussions in which each person's opinion is valued and heard. The third sign of men who pretend is that they show insufficient empathy. Understanding and sharing another person's emotions is called empathy, and it is essential to every successful connection. But pretend to be kind males frequently find it difficult to do this. Acts intended to exert control or influence over another person are considered manipulative behavior and are indicative of a diminished ability for empathy. These people may struggle to truly connect with others on an emotional level despite their seeming charm. When you are having a hard time, they might ignore your emotions or not be sympathetic. Those who are manipulative are more concerned with upholding their reputation than they are with building genuine relationships. The fourth sign of men who pretend is that they have no regard for limits. Personal limits must be respected in any successful partnership. Regretfully, guys who put on a pleasant front frequently cross these boundaries. While feigning kindness, they could make unwanted remarks about your personal life, cause you to feel uneasy about their behavior, or put pressure on you to do something you do not want to. This lack of respect for boundaries is frequently the result of an entitlement mentality. Because they think their motives are noble, they feel they have the right to breach these limits. On the other hand, genuine compassion entails honoring each person's comfort and personal space. The number 5 sign of men who pretend is that you rarely get them when you need them. Never doubt that a truly kind individual will support you through your difficult moments. Men who appear pleasant but aren't, however, frequently lack in this regard. When it is convenient for them, they may be all smiles and banter, but when you need support or a shoulder to cry on, they abruptly disappear. Their contradictory behavior and statements reveal something important about who they really are. It demonstrates how their kindness is predicated on serving their own interests. The sixth sign of men who pretend is that they do not say sorry very much. Everybody makes errors. It is essential to what it is to be human. But our character is really revealed in the way we respond to those errors. Men who put on a good show frequently suffer from this. Rather than owning up to their mistakes, they may choose to offer justifications, shift the responsibility, or just ignore the problem. This hesitancy to express regret can be devastating. You could even start to doubt your own judgment and feel disregarded and undervalued as a result. To be truly kind, one must possess humility and the capacity to acknowledge our mistakes. It is about putting other people's sentiments ahead of our own egos. The number 7 sign of men who pretend is that they employ guilt as a tool. I used to have a buddy who was always the cuttest guy in the world. He was endearing, amiable, and constantly complimenting others. But Dad had a way of making me feel bad if I ever disagreed with him or refused his requests, and that was one thing that worried me the most. I initially believed that I was just being extremely sensitive. But as time passed, I came to see that it was a strategy he employed to stay in charge and have his way. To put it another way, men who appear pleasant on the outside often exploit guilt. They provide you the lowdown for expressing your opinions or standing up for yourself. It is a deceptive tactic that might make you feel perplexed and question your judgment. The 8th sign of men who pretend is that they are the victim every time. Someone who constantly presents themselves as the victim could initially seem like a sensitive, sympathetic person. They seem to be quite aware of their feelings and comfortable opening up about their weaknesses. But men who are not sincere frequently use this as a sly tactic. They frequently use the victim card in different circumstances in an effort to win people over and shape their opinions. They skillfully dodge accountability, avoid taking on blame, and take pleasure in the consolation and attention they get from others when they do this. While it is true that everyone experiences difficulties and can become a victim of their surroundings, persistent victimization can be a red flag of covert manipulation. The 9th sign of men who pretend is that they take offense very easily. The foundation of any relationship is effective communication. It is the means by which we communicate our ideas, emotions, and worries to one another. However, guys who are pretending to be polite frequently struggle with direct and honest communication. When you confront them or ask them questions, they often become defensive. Any disagreement or criticism ruins their whole nice guy persona. They may snap back, sidestep the subject, or just shut down completely rather than truly listening and engaging in a meaningful conversation. And that makes it extremely difficult to resolve any issues or worries you may have in the relationship. The 10th and last sign of men who pretend is that they do not actually feel joy for other people. To be truly compassionate, one must be able to rejoice in the accomplishments and happiness of others. However, guys frequently struggle with this when they are just portraying decent guys. Rather than sincerely wishing you well, they may feign happiness or minimize your accomplishments. Why? Because they become self-conscious when they see someone else succeeding. They are not truly kind if they cannot actually share in your happiness. Empathy and understanding are essential components of true kindness. In conclusion, you should follow your gut and take precautions to keep yourself safe if you think someone is merely trying to be kind to you. These kinds can be emotionally taxing, even though they pose no physical threat. They cause you to wonder who you are, which leaves you perplexed and unhappy for no apparent reason. They avoid taking accountability, conveniently place guilt trips on you, and avoid having honest conversations, which makes problem-solving difficult. My recommendation: set limits and put your emotional health first at all times. Keep an eye out for cues like defensiveness or subtly disparaging remarks. Firmly but compassionately confront, remain composed, and anticipate opposition. It is time to reconsider if they refuse to interact or continue avoiding. Be in the company of people who respect and care about you. Recall that true compassion entails candor and empathy. Thank you for watching, and if you like this video, please smash the like button. That way, YouTube will send this video to others to watch. See you in the next video. Cheers!